Going live, here we are. So happy Thursday and happy September. Kimberly here with Make a Difference Academy, and we are back with our weekly inspired thoughts. Took the month of August off. There was much going on, including a little boy close to my heart, my son, turning 6 years old, which was the week before last, and then we had a trip to Grandma's house in Ohio, and then a conference in Cape Cod, and just pretty non-stop month, probably the same for you, but really happy to get back in the swing and jump on with you on this beautiful Thursday for Inspired Thoughts, which of course, by the way, are completely unscripted. In fact, sometimes I bump into someone who asks me on like a Wednesday, so what are you going to talk about tomorrow? And most of the time, I have absolutely no idea. Hey, Jonathan! Hello to you in Germany. I am having a fabulous day. I hope you are too. And I'm really glad to get to be back. But yeah, I usually kind of just whatever I feel inspired to share, and it's something that bubbles up within my heart that inspires me, and then the hope is, of course, that by sharing it will lift you up, will inspire you in some way, shape, or form. I mean, of course, that's the hope, or else I would just kind of keep it to myself, right? So what I wanted to talk about today, I'm calling it magical human interactions, because I've had a lot of those recently, and I think if we pay attention, we have them more often than we might realize. But they're just the opportunities that we have as we cross paths in this collaborative existence that we are in. You know, we're all living these go-go, crazy busy lives, and we cross paths with other human beings all the time. And so often we're just so kind of focused and in our own tunnel with what needs to get done, where we need to be, and so I found myself over the years starting to look for opportunities, because I love one of my joys I find in life are when we have those magical human interactions. And I don't just mean with people you're closest to. I mean, of course we have magical interaction there, because there's such a bond of love and caring and nurturing and shared interest and all. But I'm talking about, you know, someone that maybe you only know as an acquaintance, or someone you barely know, or a complete stranger. You know, a couple for me, just this week, I mean, of course I was at Starbucks. I mean, not that I like Starbucks, but I was at Starbucks a couple of days ago, you know, like I am every day, ordering my iced tea. And how I order my iced tea, I use pretty much, that is pretty well scripted at this point. I say I would like a Trenta black iced tea with no syrup added, no water, and no need to shake it. You can just pour tea over ice. And the girl behind the counter just got this big smile on her face. She's like, "So you just want a straight pour?" And I said, "Is that what I'm supposed to be saying?" I said, "I use all these words, and if I had just said straight pour, you would have known what I want." She's like, "Well, actually, I don't know." She's like, "But as I was hearing you describe it, it just sounded like a straight pour. You just put ice in a cup and pour tea over it, and we're done." And I thought, well, now I know the technical terminology, and I feel really good about it. And it just created this silly conversation that I think probably lifted both of us up in our day. I know that when I left that Starbucks, she and I both were smiling, waving goodbye. And then just yesterday, after Tyler's first day of school, I picked him up and he wanted an acai bowl. So we went to one of our favorite places down the street called Nature's Juice, and ordered our acai bowl. And of course I snuck in the spinach and kale when he wasn't looking or listening. And I could tell that the girl behind the counter was new, and she, oh, hey there, Michelle, thank you for the heart, and hey, Kelly. But she was definitely nervous, and she was having to ask me to repeat the order several times, you know, because Tyler's very particular. He wants bananas on top, but no strawberries, but he wants strawberries and bananas inside, no almonds, but yes, please, on the granola. And so it's a pretty particular, kind of like my Starbucks iced tea order. And she was having to repeat it back to us a few times, and she's apologizing. I'm like, "It's no problem." I said, "You got it." And so she took our order. I had ordered a juice. He got his acai bowl, and, you know, we waited a little while because there was another new person that they were training how to make the acai bowls. So yeah, we waited a little bit longer than we normally do, but it was no big deal. I mean, we were just sitting on the stools with each other, chatting about his morning at school, and the time flew, you know, because we were together. And so then they bring our stuff out to us, and he's enjoying his acai bowl, and I'm enjoying my juice and sneaking bites of his acai bowl, of course. They're big, they're huge. But, and then the girl that took our order asked me if I'd come back up to the counter. And you see they have these punch cards. They have punch cards for acai bowls and smoothies, and then separate punch cards for juices. And she's like, do you mind if I take a look at your punch cards? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I took them back out of my purse. She had already punched them. And I'm like, yeah, you got us punched for today. And she's like, I know. And she grabbed the hole puncher and she punched like 4 more in each card. She's like, I just wanted to find a way to say thank you for just being patient and being willing to have a conversation with me instead of get mad at me for being slow. And so to me, it was nothing. It was no big deal at all. But it made a difference to her. And you know what I've always known and have learned more and more over the course of time is that we have a choice. Now, every time we have an interaction with someone, I used to think that we have 2 choices, but now I realize we actually have 3 choices. And every time you have an interaction, whether it's just crossing their path, whether it is, you know, the teller at the bank, the cashier at the grocery store, the barista at the Starbucks, you know, whatever it is, we have a choice. We can either make a positive impact, we can make a negative impact. And I used to think those were the only 2. It's either positive or negative. But there is this weird middle ground too that's called indifference, where we can pretty much pretend that human being doesn't exist, where we're not going to speak negatively to them or be mean to them, talk down to them, which I see often is probably one of my biggest pet peeves in all of humanity, is for one person to look down on another for any reason. But that's another video. We won't go into that because we'll be here all day. But then you can also use your words to lift them up, to make them smile, to actually make a connection, to have one of those magical human interactions. And then there's indifference, and I've come to feel that indifference can be darn near as bad as the negative interaction, the negative impact. You know, it's not that you're being mean to someone. However, if you also don't acknowledge them as a human being, if you don't acknowledge them with kindness, that can make someone feel pretty bad, because an awful lot of people on this earth feel pretty invisible. And one of our greatest desires, I mean, gosh, from all the research out there, Crystal Heart, all the research out there from Abraham Maslow doing his research around human psychology back in the 40s to Brené Brown, the amazing, you know, researcher and storyteller that gives us so much inspiration today, and so much in between. We know for a fact that we as humans are hardwired for connection. We have a desire, if not a need, to be connected to other humans. And so when we cross each other's paths in life, there is the opportunity for that connection. So what are you going to do with it? Ends up being the question. Are you going to take advantage of it and make a positive difference in someone else's day, which I promise you will make a positive difference in your day? It is impossible to give joy to another human being without getting some on yourself too. It's a really cool thing. Joy, kindness, generosity, compassion, all of those things, you know, once we give them out, we feel more within ourselves. So we are hardwired for connection, and we are hardwired to know that we're not alone. And I've heard, you know, many people say, you know, including Oprah, so you know it's for real, has shared that, you know, what people in this world seem to crave more than anything is acknowledgement. And when we have an opportunity to acknowledge another human being and show them respect and kindness, it's powerful. It's really powerful. And if we've crossed paths at all, you've probably heard me say that, you know, my belief is we're all in this together. That's why I call this life that we get to live a collaborative experience, because we're all, you know, co-creating this experience together. And, you know, we're stronger when we bond. We're stronger together. And Kelly says, give positive vibes and reserve good vibes back. Yes, sister, you're so correct. Absolutely. And Yeah, good vibes, nothing. I think I have multiple shirts because I'm a huge believer in the power of words. And I know it annoys some people to see all the like the shirts and the hats with like the quotes on them and everything, but studies show that words are powerful, whether they are spoken or read. And so I've got multiple shirts, Kelly, that have like good vibes or positive vibes. I think I have one that says good vibes only. Bad vibes, no. But anyway, I just felt really inspired with some of the interactions I've had this week, because it's been a crazy week. First week back in school. We just got past Tyler's actual birthday. This weekend is his birthday party. Much to do, and things can get pretty crazy, and we can get pretty wrapped up in our go crazy busy worlds where it just feels like there are not enough hours in the day to get it all done, and we just need to kind of rush through. And I just want to encourage you to slow down, not only to smell the roses and to enjoy the moment, but also to have those, experience those, and embrace those simple, magical human interactions that you have the opportunity to be the instigator of. And even just open up your awareness, because others will instigate those moments too. And sometimes we don't get to experience them because we're not open to them. We just are so busy and so focused that someone is trying to instigate an interaction with us. They're showing kindness to us or trying to maybe start a brief conversation or whatever, and we just blow right by it. That's another form of indifference. We're just kind of ignoring it. And I just say don't. Life is too short. Life is too short to miss out on the opportunity to have positive interactions with other humans that will lift us up and make us feel better, more powerful, more joyful, and stronger in our day, because we are hardwired for connection. And when we connect in a positive way, I think it makes us all stronger. It makes us all more powerful. So that's what I had to share with you today. It's just the power of those magical human interactions. And now on the flip side, I do have to share this before I send you off to enjoy the rest of your day, as if you can't just turn me off. You also don't want to attach to outcome. And this is a lesson that I've had to learn the hard way, because often I would, go out of my way to say hello or to make eye contact or smile or start a conversation, and then I'm the one that gets shut down because the other person is so focused or busy or just doesn't care or whatever. And I would get really hurt. I would get really disappointed, frustrated, you name it. I will never forget my beautiful cousin Bethany, to this day, teases me, and I swear this was like 15 years ago. First trip to LA, and we were walking down, we're in Hollywood, and we're walking down one of the touristy streets. I don't remember what street it was, but it was one of those streets that you wanted to be able to go back and say, I walked down Rodeo Drive or something. I don't think it was Rodeo, but something like that. And so anyway, we're walking down the street, and there's so many people, and I'm saying hello and how you doing, and I didn't even realize this, but I started kind of getting kind of sad and disappointed. And my cousin Bethany says, "Oh my gosh." And I'm like, "What happened?" She's like, "You're sad right now, aren't you?" And I'm like, I don't think so. She's like, "You're totally sad." She's like, "You totally just turned in, and you're totally upset that these people you're saying hello to aren't saying hi back to you, aren't you?" And she was so right. I was getting disappointed and getting my feelings hurt that I was saying hi to all these complete strangers on the street, and they weren't reciprocating. She's like, "Oh my gosh." She's like, "You've got to be kidding me." She's like, "You better just hang it up." She's like, "Forget it." She's like, "You cannot rely on other people to be kind back to you." She's like, "Get over it." And in the moment that felt like kind of harsh. I'm like, well, but we should be kind to each other. And then I realized, I'm like, you know what? It's just up to you to do you. It's up to you to show kindness from your heart, but never do it from a place of expectation or an insistent outcome. Kelly is saying, "Oh, you live in a women's refuge. You've been here for 9 months. Oh, I can't see the rest of it, but it sounds like you welcome in anyone that comes in who's new with a warm welcome." Thank you, Kelly, for doing that. That is amazing. But I do just want to close with saying that, you know, be kind, be warm, be friendly, be loving for the sake of doing those things, because it's who you are. And the fact of the matter is if as individuals we're aligned with who we really are, we would automatically show each other kindness and compassion and love all day, every day. You know, it's just that we get caught up with all kinds of the monotony of life that disconnects us from that a bit. But do it for that reason. Do it because it feels good, because it's who you are. Don't do it because you're needing some kind of outcome. Don't do it because you're needing a thank you. Don't do it because you're needing a smile or a kind word back, because you may or may not get it. You know, the good news is most of the time, people are not only open, they're often surprised and thrilled to engage when you send kindness their way. But don't do it for that reason. Do it because it's who you are. And because it's who you are, it feels good to do it. So just wanted to throw that in too, because I definitely had to learn that the hard way. So thank you, Bethany, for setting me straight. Still working on it sometimes. But with that, you know, I just want you to be on the lookout for your opportunities today, tomorrow, every day, for those opportunities for just powerful, magical human interactions with people you barely know, as well as people you know and love, for sure, but also complete strangers on the street, because even though they may be considered a stranger on the street, we are all in this together. This collaborative life experience. We are all moving through this together. Everyone's got their story, everyone's going through their thing, and when we can make positive connections, we can all be stronger and more powerful together. So with that, if you're watching live, thank you so much for jumping on. It's been a few weeks and it feels really good to just jump back on completely unscripted and babble for a few minutes. And I appreciate you humoring me and commenting and having a conversation with me. If you have anything you want to share based on your experience, please do share it in the comments below. I love it when we keep the conversations going about these topics I'm throwing out at you. So it's really cool when I see that, and I always jump on and we can continue the conversation there. And if you're checking the video out later, same thing. Drop your comments in and maybe some interaction you've had, or what you've seen as the value of those magical human interactions and just the power in us being who we really are, which is kind and loving toward each other. So in every interaction, you've got a choice. Now you can choose love. So with that, I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of your day, and I will look forward to our paths crossing again soon. Mwah. Much love.